What's up, everybody? Sean here with the TSOD channel, and on today's episode, I'm giving you guys a couple of updates on some new firearms laws, some new developments here in California, as well as some new additions to the California handgun roster, and much, much more. So if you're tuning in for the very first time, consider subscribing to the channel, all right? So if you want to know about California gun laws, what new handguns are being added to the roster, and being more comfortable with firearms in general, you're definitely going to want to stay tuned to the channel. All right, so let's get into today's episode. First up is Senate Bill 948, all right? So this is a proposed bill. It's not signed into law yet, but this is something that you definitely want to keep on your radar if you're looking at moving into California here in the near future, if this does go into effect. So basically what this is a 60-day requirement for new California residents. Basically, they'll have to get a firearm safety certificate. And what that is just, a test. I think it's like 30 questions. Talks about firearms, has you answer questions, and you have to score a certain percentage. However, on top of that, with Senate Bill 948, you're actually going to have to sit through a whole 8-hour class on all about firearms, as well as you're actually going to have to complete a live fire training portion of it as well. So what that means is more time and more money that you're going to have to spend to just be able to own and keep firearms in here. And I'm not talking about being able to just buy a firearm, right? So you have to have a firearm safety certificate anyways to buy a firearm here as a new resident. But now they're talking about even if you own your own firearms, with Senate Bill 948, you're going to have that firearm safety certificate, the training course, live fire training, as well as you're going to have to register your firearms with the California DOJ on top of that, as well as you'll have to upload that firearm safety certificate to their website. Now, I don't know how long it's going to be good for in terms of when this actual law, if it does go into effect. I don't know if it will, but I just want to make sure you guys are up to date, up to speed on what may be coming down the pipe in terms of this new firearms registration law plus a firearms training requirement for new residents. So just be aware of that. It's on the radar, all right? Okay, so now let's talk about Duncan versus Bonta, all right? Now, this is that magazine capacity, that 10-round capacity law that California signed into law a couple years ago, basically limiting the round capacity to 10 rounds, all right? This has kind of been one of the biggest gripes of many California gun owners for a long time. It's worked its way up through the Ninth Circuit, and then it's also worked its way all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States. Now, Duncan versus Bonta, it's been listed and relisted multiple times with the Supreme Court. They have not taken it up. They have not granted it cert yet. All right. It's just sitting up there. Everybody wants to see what they're going to do in terms of magazines being considered arms under the Second Amendment, and therefore the state can't infringe on that. All right. So we're just kind of waiting on that to see what the Supreme Court ultimately decides. However, there's been a new development on that. Now, DC, the District of Columbia, Washington, DC, they recently struck down their 10-round magazine capacity law, right? It was deemed unconstitutional. It's in the process of being appealed by the government there. And what that does create, though, is it creates a circuit, court split, all right? So Ninth Circuit saying that the 10-round magazine capacity law is constitutional. DC is saying it's unconstitutional. Now, what a lot of people are hoping is that the Supreme Court will actually take this case up now, Duncan versus Bonta, and actually make a ruling on this finally and let it be what it is. So that's a new development. What it does is it basically provides ammunition for Duncan versus Bonta to be taken up by the Supreme Court and heard and reviewed and ultimately decided on. All right. So new bit of development. It doesn't really change anything for Californians. It does change things for residents of Washington, D.C. So good for them. They're not basically tied down to that 10-round magazine capacity law anymore. Now it is being appealed. We'll see where that goes, but I think this favors better for Duncan versus Bonta. So we'll see. Okay, now let's talk about the California CCW license renewal or expiration time. So there's two bills that are out there. California Assembly Bill 1948. What that would do would take the current 2-year validity of the California CCW license and bump that up 1 year. So it'd go from it being good for 2 years to now it being good for 3 years. Then there's another bill out there, I believe it's 1092, that takes that a step further, and it goes from your initial CCW license from 2 years, it goes to 3, and I believe your renewal will be done every 6 years now. So 3 and 6 years versus a current just 2 across the board. And with 1948, it'll bump up 1 year to your initial and your renewal. Your license will be good for 3 years. So a small win if it does actually go. These are just proposed. They're not signed into law, but definitely something to keep on our radar, because I don't know about you. I have a California CCW license, and the fees here are ridiculous. They're extremely expensive, and you've got to do that every 2 years as of right now to stay current, to be able to carry concealed. All right. So it's expensive here in California. So even one additional year saves you some money, but definitely for a renewal, having it good for at least 6 years, I'll take that. All right. So just something to keep on our radar. All right, so next up is Rhode versus Bonta. So that's another one that Californians have definitely been keeping an eye on. And this is the current law that's in effect, and that's the ammunition background check. All right, so basically in California, you have to show ID, you have to go through a background check in order to buy ammunition here in California. This law, when it went into effect, obviously it was immediately challenged. It went up through the Ninth Circuit. The 3-judge panel took a look at it and deemed that it was unconstitutional. So boom, that happened. And then all of a sudden the state appealed to the Ninth Circuit's Court of Appeals. They took a look at it and they deemed that it was good. It was constitutional for the state to do that. And then that got appealed. It was heard in en banc from the full 11-judge panel here pretty recently. A couple weeks back, I believe it was March 25th. And what's unique about this case, Rhode versus Bonta, is that the U.S. Department of Justice, as well as several other states, actually latched onto this case and argued in favor of Rhode, saying that this ammunition background check was in fact unconstitutional and that it should be struck down for good. So they said their piece. I expect there to hopefully be a ruling sometime this year in 2026. I don't know where it's going to go. The Ninth Circuit just is kind of all over the place and where they could go on this. So I have no idea in which direction this is going to go in. So we'll see. So in my opinion, if the Ninth Circuit upholds this and says, yes, the state has a constitutional authority, a legal authority to do this, I believe it immediately gets appealed up to the Supreme Court, and it's going to kind of be right up there with Duncan versus Bonta in terms of like the constitutionality and the legality of this, the ammunition background check. Yeah, it's a pain having to go through the background check. It's just another thing. The lines are already long and so on and so forth, right? So anyway, we'll see where that goes. But I thought it was pretty cool. I think there's like 20 some odd states, attorney generals that have jumped on board on this case, plus the U.S. Department of Justice on top of that is arguing in favor of Rhode, saying it's unconstitutional. So we'll see where it goes. All right, guys, more to follow. All right, let's talk about AB 1127, and that is the Glock ban, essentially, right? It's basically a ban on pistols that can be converted to machine guns or automatic fire or whatnot. So we've all a lot of people have heard about this. Hopefully you heard about this, where the Glock ban and how it's going to go into effect. Well, it actually goes into effect July 1st of this year, 2026. So beyond that, you will not be able to purchase them from a firearms dealer. I believe you'll still be able to do like family transfers, private party transfers, things like that. But you'll definitely not be able to purchase it from a gun shop or anything like that beyond July. Now, I know Glock, they're coming out with their Gen 6, which they've said that they've fixed the issues where, people were basically being able to install these switches to convert them. So hopefully those Gen 6 Glocks will be able to get on the California DOJ approved handgun roster, all right, for all the firearms owners here in California that, they love the Glock brand and they want to be able to purchase some of the newer models. So hopefully we can get some of those onto the roster. And oh, by the way, at the end of this video, I'm going to be covering or going over the DOJ roster so you guys can see what new firearms have recently been added, and there's quite a few. So yeah, definitely stick around to the end and we'll definitely talk about that. So yeah, 1127, that is in effect. It is an actual law, and it basically prohibits the sale of pistols that can be converted into machine guns and any similar like type clone pistols. So yep, just be on the radar for that. That is going into effect mid-year. All right, so let's talk about AB 1263. A little update on that. If you've tried to purchase any sort of like firearm parts online for whatever reason past January 1st, you will probably realize that like a lot of your favorite companies and manufacturers, they are no longer shipping or selling to California residents, right? With AB 1263, that was like the 3D printing law, as well as the firearm parts that can be used to create assault weapons or whatever, that went into effect. So, and it covers, it's actually very broad. A lot of these companies and manufacturers are trying to be safe and comply with the law, and even simple things like an optics plate, right? An optics plate for a red dot for a pistol. You'll find some companies that just flat out just banned every single part selling directly to California residents. Now, here's the deal where you can actually still be able to purchase some of this stuff online in two ways that I'm aware of. The first way is to find a company or a manufacturer that has all of those requirements put into place that were specified by the law, which is, you have to be able to verify that California resident's address, their identity. So basically you have to upload your ID so they know you are who you are, and it's, wherever they're shipping to, it's tied to you, whatever. On top of that, needs to be adult signature verification. All right. And then I believe you have to sign a statement saying that you're not going to use any of those parts to create any type of assault weapon or anything like that. So there's like 3 steps that these websites or these companies have to implement for you to purchase online. The other way you can do it is to go through a California FFL, gun shop, a dealer. It's a very similar process. And I believe you'll still have to sign saying that you are not going to use the parts for anything bad or whatever. And they can actually order it in and then, hand it to you or whatever the case may be. So, basically you can get with your local gun shop, one that's reputable, one that is reliable to, and will get back to you and actually order this stuff in for you so you can come pick it up. So one of those two ways, but 1263 is in effect, and it's not fun for lawful, law-abiding California gun owners to be able to just purchase parts to modify and improve their firearms. All right, so is what it is while it's in effect. All right, let's talk about AB 1078. All right, so basically what it is, or one of the major things that comes with Assembly Bill 1078, is the 3 guns in 30 days rule or law. And this is kind of funny because California put into effect a 1 in 30 law, which was deemed unconstitutional. That was struck down. So they just created another law that basically says instead of 1 in 30, you can only purchase 3 guns in 30 days. Is what it is. But I'm actually going to flip over to an article here, basically just a step-by-step guide on what 1078 actually entails from gun owners of California. So I'm just going to switch over to that and show you what that is so you guys can see it. So what does 1078 actually change? So what's cool about it is it changes up the CCW application standards, which was already going into effect. However, what it does is for non-California residents now, non-California residents can actually apply for a California CCW. Okay. So that was kind of like iffy and like if they wanted to and like the whole 9 yards, but now it's like actually implemented or into law. So 1078, so non-California residents, they can go through a lot of the same steps that a California resident would go through to obtain a CCW license, and they can actually obtain that. So, I think that's one step in the right direction. As you can see here, adds disqualifiers for applicants, including like restraining orders, alcohol abuse, certain things like that. So revocation or revocation rules. So if you ever applied for a CCW and you didn't put on there certain things, incomplete application information, inaccurate stuff. Now, here's the other thing. This requires fingerprinting for renewals starting in 2026. So if you already have your California CCW, you're going to have to redo the fingerprints every time you renew. It talks about SB 2 or Senate Bill 2, which is that sensitive places law that went into effect. Now, there is a court injunction on SB 2 on some of where that law or some of what that law can be, put into effect right now. So Senate Bill 2, parts of that is actually, blocked. And you can see here, blocked by federal court injunctions. Now, what I talked about earlier is now it goes to 3 and 30 versus 1 and 30. All right. So those are kind of the major things with AB 1078 that is basically now into effect. All right, guys. So is what it is. This is what I do, is kind of try my best to keep all of you guys updated on a lot of these California gun laws. So like I said before, if you don't follow the channel, if you don't subscribe to it, consider doing so. Also, hit me up on social media as well. Again, I try to do these updates every few weeks or as big things come out. So you definitely want to stay tuned to the channel. Plus, on top of that, I'm also covering new firearms, California approved firearms, as well as just doing some general training and just trying to give you guys tips and tricks in ways to be more efficient, effective, and safe with firearms. All right. So consider subscribing. Don't forget to smash that like button. And lastly, I'm going to cover some of the recently added handguns on the California DOJ approved handgun roster. So let's go take a look at that. And you guys can see here. So this, you guys can Google California DOJ handgun roster recently added, and you can see some of the models. So the Beretta 92FS or the Beretta M9, all right, it is added to the California handgun roster. So all my Beretta M9, Beretta 92FS guys, you can finally go in and purchase that. It's on the roster now. Smith & Wesson added the Bodyguard on here. So if you're a fan of the Bodyguard, you can go and purchase that. These all come in 10-round configurations, by the way. You won't be able to get anything outside of that. Obviously, the 10-round magazine capacity law is in effect. On top of that, with the approved handgun law, it has to have a loaded chamber indicator, magazine disconnect, and those are kind of the big things in 10-round magazines, all right? So you can see a couple from Magnum Research here, Smith & Wesson. So the M&P 10 mil, all right? M&P 2.0 in 10 millimeter, that is now on the roster. M&P 9, the Shield Plus is now on there. The Staccato, the HD C4X, all right? So for all of my Staccato fans, just like myself, the C4X is on the approved handgun roster from back in January. The H&K VP9, which I've heard some really good things about, is also on there now as well. And the Springfield Armory, the Echelon, is on there, and then the Shield X. All right. So these are all the latest and greatest. And as these come out, I will do more update videos, as well as I'll actually do reviews on many of these pistols too as they come out on the roster. I will be getting my hands on the Staccato C4X very soon, so you can expect that. Now, I've heard on the rumor mill that the Springfield Prodigy, all right, the Prodigy, I believe, is coming to California very soon. All right. So there are some updates and some new stuff is being added. Okay. So yeah, I know this is it's a long update video, but I haven't done one in a little while. So I wanted to make sure that I updated you guys to keep you guys just up to speed on what's going on in California in terms of the gun laws. So that's all I got for you all. So, hey, appreciate you tuning in to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you again soon on the TSOD channel. Peace.